We are proud to introduce you to the latest educational board game in 2020, Learnux, the ultimate Linux board game. It is invented by a team of 3 members comprising of Dr. Gavin Wee, Dr. Jasmine Hue, and Dr. Zobaer Hasan. Before we further talk about Learnux, let's talk about Linux first. Just like Windows and Mac, Linux is a high-performance operating system that closely resembles Unix. Besides that, Linux can be operated on a much wider range of hardware than most other operating systems. As an information, Linux is available everywhere, such as in notebooks, desktop computers, workstations, supercomputers, smartphones, industrial robots, and many others. Linux skills are becoming increasingly important in research due to the growing availability of large data sets. Linux serves as an important foundation as this big data cannot be analyzed using a normal computer with Windows operating system. Furthermore, Linux skills are usable in many different fields, ranging from businesses to biotechnology as well as industrial design. We need to access Linux Terminal in order to use Linux server efficiently. Linux Terminal is a program that receives commands from the users and then forwards them to the OS for processing and then shows the output. Linux command line interface is the main part of the terminal as it enables the users to interact with Linux server. Thus, mastering Linux commands is a must-have skill for one to fully utilize Linux server effectively. Feeling fear in looking at the black terminal? Feeling miserable to learn Linux command lines? Aha! We have a solution for you! Learnux, the ultimate Linux board game. Learnux is a board game that is related to and runs on Linux operating system and utilizes the Linux command lines as part of the gameplay. Players can learn, practice, and master the commands quickly in the most fun way anywhere, even without a computer. Hence, by the end of the game, the players are all set to use Linux terminal skillfully and confidently. There are 4 characters in the game which consist of the police, the spy, villain 1, and villain 2. Each player would be given 3 tokens. The game also consists of attack and defense cards. Learnux is a game played by 4 players. It features the battle between the protagonist, the police and the spy, against the antagonist, villain 1 and villain 2. Each character has its mission and has to navigate his tokens to the finishing line on a board to complete the mission. The number generated by each throw of dice determines the number of steps a token is allowed to move each time. When a player's token has reached the finish line, the player gets a chance to check any one of the opponent's identity card. The police will win the game if he manages to reveal both the identities of villain 1 and villain 2. The spy wins the game if 2 of his 3 tokens reach the final directory box. Lastly, any villain who manages to reveal the spy's identity wins the game. In other words, the game ends when the spy's identity is revealed by either one of the villains. On the board, there are some Linux commands which assist or prevent players from reaching the final line. Players can also use their attack or defense cards with a variety of Linux commands and functions to assist themselves or to prevent other players from reaching the final line, which is the reboot card. When a player uses any of his reboot card on another player, the opponent player will need to restart his token to the starting position. Reboot is one of the commands used in the Linux system. So when the moment the user types in the word reboot in the Linux terminal, the OS will immediately receive the command and restart the system. As you can see, the various functions and commands of Linux command lines have been integrated into the gameplay in Learnux. Learnux plays the important role in familiarizing the users with the user terminal interaction, which is similar to that of Linux. Therefore, without doubts, the players would definitely be able to remember different Linux commands and functions and enhance their skills and efficiency after playing Learnux. The concept of the gamification approach in the learning and teaching of Linux has never been implemented before. Hence, 18 different Linux commands have been included and integrated as the gameplay in Learnux, which are also similar to that of Linux. Hence, Learnux provides similar Linux user terminal interaction that serves as an educational and enhanced learning tool for students. The main target of users of Learnux are undergraduates and postgraduate students. Besides, Learnux also targets people who are interested in learning Linux, like those non-IT researchers who need to perform data analysis using Linux. Hence, Learnux is a highly marketable product and its potential for commercialization as an educational tool for the undergraduates or postgraduates programs. For your information, we are planning to implement a gamification approach in the teaching of Linux using Learnux for one of the bioinformatics units next year. Furthermore, Learnux is an interesting multiplayer board game that nurtures peer interaction anytime and anywhere. Therefore, Learnux can be a popular educational product being sold online or at the bookstores and supermarkets and by any other merchants to a wide range of consumers.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm from the Bachelor of Science, majoring in Genomics and Bioinformatics. I found the Learnux game to be very engaging because I had to strategize on the go, and because of the way it is designed, sometimes I had to change my strategy completely, which made it much more interesting. I also realized that after a few rounds of the game, I could easily recall what the different attack or defense cards allowed us to do. And because the cards also give us a description of what the Linux commands are for, I found it to be a very intuitive way to familiarize myself with the different commands. I also like how the storyline keeps things exciting because it has that element of mystery and surprise. So I think it's the kind of game that you can play for a really long time without feeling bored at all.
In conclusion, Learnux has a significant impact on the teaching and learning of Linux platform, especially to non-IT researchers and students. Thus, Learnux serves as a stepping stone for users to navigate around the Linux terminal before advancing to complicated tasks of analyzing big data.